Mob Psycho. Dang.
Mob Psycho, my boy Mob just pulling out here, you know.
3 years later. It's been 3 years, right? 2016. Yeah, it's 2019, so 3 years later.
Yeah, starting off strong, you know. He's big games, big pulls. Got his girl, got 2 girls. You know?
Okay, he did not get any girls towards the end.
He got
so
2.
He didn't get no.
He got 2.
Oh, yeah. Move on. Yeah.
The hype is real.
The hype is always real from Mob Psycho. I've always thought in my heart that Mob Psycho was better than One Punch Man. Like, I watched Mob Psycho before One Punch Man, and I already like had this hype for Mob Psycho, and then everybody was like, oh, One Punch Man's better or whatever, like One Punch Man. Then I watched One Punch Man, I was like Mob Psycho is low-key, high-key better. I think it's better.
It's really good. It's literally a 9.
Towards the end of the episode, I kept like replaying it back just to watch that last scene again where you put the book back together with his like and he was like, I'm an Esper, and it's like, okay, anyways, let's go back to let's start to the beginning. Okay, so it starts off with like him going on his regular like exorcism rounds with his mentor.
Yeah, it started off really slow. The first half I was like, boring.
Okay,
and then it got
it's
really
like
good.
But that's how last season started. Like, it doesn't
That's
always
true.
need to be pop. Like, everything like kind of has significance. So okay, it started off with the regular exorcisms, like his sensei like being like dumb as usual, like people.
Oh no!
What?
I was like, what can I see?
Anyways, like people believing his sensei's like BS or whatever. And then the funniest part, okay, stop looking at your glasses. The funniest part was that like he was when one of the people couldn't pay, cause like you forget that his like sensei, what's his name? The sensei?
Mr. Blondie.
Whatever.
Mr. Blondie.
You forget that Mr. Blondie. You forget that we're such fake fans. You forget that he's actually a good person.
Yeah.
And whenever one of their clients said they couldn't pay, and he was like, okay, I'll just accept other forms of payment. I was like, wow, he's still gonna perform the exorcism, whatever. And he was like, you can pay me 30% of your crops or whatever. I was like, this guy is hilarious. And if you think about it, there was a new like part of Mob's power that was introduced, which is why you need to pay attention to the little things that happen.
What happened, huh?
Everything's important. So like while Mob was like surrounded by the tree branches, and like he was like, how can
Oh, that's literally, I saw that. Like
okay, yeah, but you weren't gonna talk about it. Mob Psycho was like, oh, how's this ghost able to control things from like remote, like control these branches remotely? So then if you like pay attention, like a new part of Mob's power was introduced then, where he can control things remotely with his psychic powers, which could serve really well when they get to like fighting like other espers and stuff, which when they showed the OPs, I can't wait for the whole gang to get together like in the OP. Sure. And when they fight like the secret organization or whatever, it gets me more hyped than Naruto's ever gotten me hyped.
To watch Naruto.
Anyways,
do you guys watch Naruto? I don't even know what that is.
So then there's this girl who's like, well, I know that right now she's trying to make Mob like the new cult leader for like espers and psychics. But like basically her plan is, okay, so Mob like literally does not have the personality to be a cult leader at all, so she needs to like lead him towards like the personality to be a cult leader.
Yeah, he's gonna be a cult leader, a good one.
Anyways, yeah, so then she's like, she has this idea, she's like, okay, so I'm gonna make him become like student council president. And it was so funny that if you notice like Mob's relationship with his little brother, how like last season it was kind of like rocky, and then this season he was literally like, and he was rooting for the original student council president, but as soon as he saw Mob was running, he was like, okay, I'm gonna have to like switch up real quick and vote for Mob. And like that was so cool, like the way he was like so serious on supporting his brother, and that was really cool. So Mob of course completely blanks. There's no way Mob could give a speech in front, he could barely like talk one-on-one. There's no way he was gonna give a speech in front of his entire class. And then that leads to Mob getting his not first girlfriend, because apparently he rejected her. So, which I didn't get until the end, that he were like, because in the end I was like, wait, why did he just accept her when he's in love with his childhood friend? Like, that's kind of like, doesn't sound like Mom. But he rejected her and he would walk home with her every day. And it all seemed kind of sketch, because I was like, is girl really like proposing to him because of the whole like his whole speech thing? Everything seemed kind of sketch. But then like I was like, oh, you know, like whatever, that's just how it be. And so then they walked home every day together, and then Mob walked back to school so he could like go back to school and be part of his clubs, which is like so like Mob because he's like such a good person. And then like this girl shows him her novel that she's writing, and then she just goes in on Mob's personality like she's known him for like 20 years. She's like, yeah, you hold everything on the inside, you hold all your feelings on the inside. I'm like, girl, didn't you just walk home with him like 5 times? Like, how do you know his entire life story already? And then Mob's like, no. And then this literally broke my heart. It broke my heart when she said, oh, I just like asked you out as a dare. I was like, no, my boy Mob's fine. No, it's not. It don't be like that. I was like, my boy Mob is finally getting a GF. And she asked him out on a dare. And I was like, it just crushed my heart. And the most interesting thing about Mob Psycho is that, or Mob in general, is you can, even though when he's sad or when he's like depressed or like, you know, like his face is blank. You know, like during that moment, his face was blank, but you could tell the emotion that was just like running through him, like the disappointment, like the sadness. You could tell, but his face was just blank. Like, especially when he was just laying in the grass on the hill, and his face was just blank. And then he just got up, and it was just silent. And I was like, that was more powerful than like all the emotions that any anime could ever show with like the drawings on their face or whatever, like the emotions they could show through drawings, like just their blank face. And that just shows how like, one, like the author can just or the people working on this can just make so much emotion show out of like literally nothing. It's just a blank face. And that was like literally so sad. I was almost on the verge of tears. And then this girl's like, the girl who said she asked him out on a dare, she then goes like talks with her friends, they're bullying her. I'm like, I don't care about you, you deserve this. But then my boy Mob goes up and he's like, no, none of this. And like, this is huge for Mob because Mob usually just like walks away and doesn't get involved in conflict. But he's grown so much since last season. And then like the girl sees how she stood up for him, and I don't know, something goes through her head. She's like, oh, he's like cool now or whatever. And then the best part of the episode, the best part is when they all blow away, all the pieces of paper blow away, and then Mob pulls it back in and like puts the pieces back together with his like psychic powers, which I was thinking he was gonna do in the beginning. And then he says to the girl, I'm an Esper, like just straight up just tells her. And Mob like doesn't tell people that he's psychic because he doesn't think it's important, ever since like he was really into his childhood friend trying to impress her, which I forgot and I had to like read back on, with like his psychic powers. And then she got bored and was more interested in like physical abilities than like, and said psychics weren't special, which like unintentionally made Mob the person that he is and made him think, oh, so, like just because I have psychic powers doesn't make me special. And that's what made Mob's path go differently than like the blonde guy who's like hair's chopped off, or like all these psychic like cult people in organizations. So then like, oh, the music, the ending theme music was so good. And then all of a sudden in the corner you see the girl he likes and she's like, smooth. And I'm like, where'd you come from and you can speak? I was like, you have a personality. And I literally just like replayed that over and over, and I was like, oh no, that did not just happen. And oh, it was so good. Like, it's just gone, like, it's only the first episode and I can already tell how good it's gonna get.
It's good.
So yeah, I feel like I just spoke this entire time, but I just had to. You had nothing important to say. But
one of the most like important moments in there, like that I saw, was that Mob, he cried tears, which was insane.
He literally cried.
And I was just like, wow, like this boy's growing up, like right before my eyes. He's just growing into a man. And you can see that he really grew as a character from this one episode, which is absolutely insane.
Like the people that are working on this, like I think it's
Madhouse.
No, it's not Madhouse. Madhouse isn't working on Mob Psycho. It's Studio Bones. Yeah, Studio Bones. Why are you looking at me like you know what you're talking about? But Studio Bones, like, I don't really know any other animes they've worked on, but like the team that's working on Mob Psycho, like from the get-go, like they've just known what they were doing, known what they were going for. Oh, they did like Brotherhood, or
they did Fullmetal Alchemist
Brotherhood. Oh, Brotherhood. Yeah, like the team working on this is just so good at what they're doing and so true to their vision and so true to like one's vision, and you can tell, and it's just so good.
Yeah, for sure. It's up there. And honestly, I'm content with this. If One Punch Man doesn't come out, I really don't care, because I'm content with this.
Yeah.
And
And
Yeah.
I don't know what else JC staff has done, but you know, One Punch Man might like
Literally,
surpass
the only
us
thing
all.
they've done is Revolutionary Girl, Utena, and Toradora. That's the only.
Oh, Toradora wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I'm just excited for Mob, man. It was just super good.
So
Very good first episode.
if you guys can check out my last video, I worked really hard on that. So really check it out. No.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh no!
What?
What can I see?